Hello, Bettina from Switzerland.
Come on in. Somebody says Swiss lady.
Nice to see you.
Same as that. Thank you for inviting me.
So, for everybody who is here right now, I would like to introduce Nicola Good. And I actually don't know all that much about Nicola, so you may have to fill us in just a little bit. But Nicola has been working closely as a close associate with Christina von Dreien, with whom you may have seen the interview from last year. Some of you have been there, some of you have seen it, and some of you may have not, but you can look it up. And Christina and Nicola are also doing interviews with now on Fridays. What is it?
It's Angel Rebo from Expansion Network.
Expansion Network, Angel Rebo, so you can also look them up there. But so Nicola has, the way I got introduced to Nicola was by listening to her talk or read the book from Christina von Dreien, and I really, really enjoyed her voice, and of course I enjoyed the book as well. But then I met her at an event with Christina von Dreien also in Leipzig in Germany, and yeah, so I have been in touch with her, and Nicola and Christina are both working for planetary awareness, for raising our vibration, our consciousness. And Nicola, anything you would like to add? Just in general about yourself, about where you're coming from.
Well, you actually said the most important things, and yes, that's what is the most important thing in my life actually since about 20, 30 years to work with my own consciousness, with my own inner space uh, to expand my consciousness and to make contact with my inner core. And so I was working as a therapist with homeopathy, craniosacral therapy before I met Christina. And it started off with the audiobooks, which you mentioned before. And since then, that's about 4 years ago. And Christina is a young woman with a she was born here with her. She brought her whole consciousness, which we have to work for, coming from 3D. She brought it all here, and she never sort of forgot where we come from. When she never went through that veil of forgetting, which we do usually pass through. She did also, but it didn't do anything to her consciousness. So she has it with her, and so she's such an amazing. Yes, she brings love and consciousness into this world, and that's her message. And I feel so blessed and happy to accompany her to do everything to make her work possible in 3D. What I can.
So yeah, I mean, uh, I find it amazing that she has not forgotten, who she is, because so many of us were all struggling to what connect to our divine source, and so many times we, feel like we lose ourselves in this third dimension, and running after things, after this, after that, and whereas it is very much about reconnecting, and like she often talks about, also remembering who we are. And so in our world also, what I find, and this is why I think cooking is so important, it's something that is very organic, very natural, very basic, and if it's really nurturing us in a positive way, then we are somewhat also nurtured by love through that. If somebody is cooking with love for somebody else, that can be very good. on the other hand, of course, there are many gadgets that are making our lives easier these days, like, the cell phones, the this and that, the ultimately going towards artificial intelligence, which seems to be becoming more and more intertwined with our lives. And I sometimes worry. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but sometimes I worry that it takes over without us really having the awareness of where it's going. What do you feel about that?
Yes, you're right. It's something that is deliberately being put into our lives, the artificial intelligence, and it's sort of, I see that way, that it, it's replacing actually our abilities that we naturally would have if our consciousness would be on our inside us more. You know, if our consciousness would be directed more to our inside than to all the things in the outside. And technology itself is something neutral, like money or anything is neutral, and it's always the intention that is behind something that makes it either good or bad. And I mean, technology is awesome and it's very helpful. And because of technology, we are able to. I'm able to join your cooking event here now. I think it's great, and you're able to see my fire going on my lovely fireplace here in Switzerland, and it's fantastic. I love technology, but the intention with which it is placed in our world and the intention that at the moment is behind it all, that is what it makes it dangerous actually. That's my opinion about it.
Yeah, I mean, so I agree. I mean, if the intention is service to all and with love, and to what yeah, care for humanity and care for each other in a way that it really helps everybody, I think then it can be very good. But if it's in service to self, or in service to create damage ultimately, even though it looks good, then it may not be as
Yes, I think this is so important, and it's a very important topic about discernment. Is that the right word? So
yes,
I
yes.
apologize for my English. I'm not, just
Your English is
trying to
great.
get over what I want to say. So, um, discerning um, what intention is behind something. Sometimes, as you said, it looks so good, and the way it is presented to us sounds so good and so tempting. And generally, I think this special time we're living in now is sort of like it has the aspect of an unfriendly takeover from forces or structures, as Christina names them, um, that are trying to uh, use it for their own power and only for that. Uh, and the internet is at the same time beneficial and very, very dangerous too. So, and it's up to us which use we're making of it. And if things are here for connecting us to, for connecting our hearts and bring over that energy, and I mean, Christina's work wouldn't be possible in that way, and wouldn't reach so many people. And I hear so often that even through the camera, even through when we do a meditation or with our webinars, even through the camera, this energy comes through, and this is so beautiful. And so it's us making it either beneficial or or
Detrimental or
yes, yes,
destructive. Right.
yes,
Yes. And it is true. I mean, Christina's what aura or her field of energy is always, you can feel the love that she exudes. It's just totally amazing. But I think, I mean, even when we are connecting like this, and we're using it for sharing love, then I think that is also really, really wonderful. But here's the other thing. I think, what do you think about that? I mean, sometimes, I mean, without making yourself a target, but sometimes when there is need to speak out against something, I think we need to have our voices heard, because sometimes I think too many of us are simply going along with whatever is being decided for us. And that
Yes,
is
if we
something.
don't take a decision, if you don't make a decision, somebody else takes a decision for us. So that we have to be very, very clear and become very clear. And this is something I see in these troubled times we are going through at the moment with all these different opinions. The first question I'm asking myself usually, if I hear something, it, do I think, I mean, cui bono, who is profiting from it? Where is the information coming from? Who is taking profit? And I tend to believe informations that come from places where I see, does this person earn some money when doing, giving me this information, or does this person, is put in danger, the career is put in danger when she's giving this information. So I tend to believe these kind of informations more than the other ones. And here we are again with the discernment. We have to learn and discern why some informations are being censored at the moment so much, and I think it's as bad over in USA as here in Switzerland. So we have to be careful what we are really naming, clearly naming, but then we don't have to stand up and put our opinion out loud if we don't want to, or if it's too dangerous for us, or if our whole family has a different opinion. We don't have to try was heißt überzeugen?
Was heißt wie?
Überzeugen.
It's convince.
Convince somebody from somebody else if this person has a different opinion. But what we can do is at home on our sofa, because we can, if we have an inner no to something, a development that's taking place at the moment, and we say, no, I don't want to live in a world like this. I don't want this for my children. And we feel this inner no inside of us. We're putting this out in the collective field. We can do that on the sofa. We can do it. I mean, there's these courageous people, and they're, as you said, their voices are being heard, and we need them also. But it is not everybody's job to do that. We have different jobs, and I think the majority of us is not speaking out loud. But we have to allow ourselves and allow for having a lot of quiet time and putting things deliberately into this collective field. This is so much more important than we know.
So putting things into the collective field, I think this is something maybe we can, some people may not be as familiar with, but the collective field is, all what everybody's consciousness, because we are ultimately all connected, even though well, I'm here and you're there and I'm me and this is it, but there is a lot more. And this collective field is literally where we are all connected. So when what you're saying is, when we are stating with our divine intent, this is what I stand for, on doing it on my sofa, but then that also has immediately an effect on the collective field, and that
Yes.
changes ultimately then the whole what world, the whole the whole field, and ultimately it comes down what condensing into the 3D, into the third dimension.
Yes. Speaking about the collective field, some people know exactly how to work with that collective field. And at the moment, we have all these media, TV, everything, um, and they're we are, as human beings, we are getting programmed right from the beginning. When we come here, we enter into a body, and we have the genetics, and these genetics, they're actually nothing else than huge data banks, or how do you say that? Datenbanken, data collection of data in the DNA. So we're already incarnating into a lot of information, and then we go through our family life, our parents, our sisters and brothers, and we go through school time, and we're being educated, and this kind of educating is sort of a programming. That's how we learn things, by repeating. I mean, repetition. We have been learning how to walk, how to speak. It was always a matter of repetition. So eventually, something that has been done over and over, rehearsed over and over, again and again, becomes an automatic program. I mean, today I don't have to think about how to put one foot in front of another, and it's walking. It's my automatic program, and that this is how we work. We're actually a computer is actually built. It's built like a human person. We have the programmer, which is our mind eventually, and we have the printer is our destiny. It's printing out what we are, the essence of what we are thinking all the time, because it is going into this quantum field, and this quantum field is, I mean, what we're calling air. If you move your hand, this is not nothing. There is something, and these are very small particles, and there is something, and it's actually an electromagnetic field. Our thoughts have a very strong electric um,
Charge.
charge, yes, and it's going out into this electromagnetic field, and it's sending out a charge into that field. And our feelings, our emotions, they have a, it's very simplified, of course, they have a very strong magnetic aspect to them. So they're drawing out of that field, they're drawing things towards us. And that's how our destiny is influenced by what we think. And we are being programmed all the time, every single moment, by what we think. We do program ourselves by our thought patterns all the time. We are doing this. And TV, media, what we are consuming, whom we are spending time with, it all has a very strong effect in our
So
life.
So when you're saying, for example, that our thought patterns, when we pattern our life, when we put a specific program in, we could even put a program in that would prevent us from receiving love
Oh,
ultimately,
yes.
if that was, so or if we put a program in, like, let's put a program in, let's have everybody be fearful, so then that also closes us off from, the love connection that ultimately in our core we are. Is that right?
Yes, I agree with you. And so that's sometimes the difficult things if we in our conscious we want to change a specific situation in our lives, and then we do affirmations and all these things, and it's great. Affirmations are a good beginning, but if in on the unconscious level we have one of these automatic programs that tell us a totally different story. I mean, if in our childhood sometimes it's one sentence that a person has said to us, or you're not able to do that, or you're too stupid, or oh, you don't deserve that. And when we are children, we are so open, and our it goes directly onto our um, into our unconscious, and it stays there, and it's becoming an automatic program, which might not be in our consciousness. We might not be aware that we are having this program. But if we keep running into the same situations, and they're coming back and back in our lives, we can go and ask ourselves, what might be that program that that's causing, although I do want something else and I'm working at it with affirmations and lots of these things, we have to change those. We have to write over these automatic unconscious programs, and that is possible.
And that is also through repetition.
Also through repetition, and it is a strong decision we have to make. We have to find out what's that sentence, what, and you can find it out. What is that sentence? That's, you know, I never deserve being happy. What's the sentence, and what do we want to have instead of that? And if we then work with that sentence, that I'm a beautiful person, I deserve it. If we work with that on a continuous level, we will achieve change eventually.
And I think I have taken probably enough of your time. And I think this is also, let's leave it on that beautiful note, because that can really then sink in as we're going from here to work with that and to know that repetition is the way. And of course, remembering that we are ultimately love and light, and that we are ultimately unconditional love, but sometimes to look for these other things that are standing in the way, and then making a determination to change so that we can come back to our own divine source and our true connection. Anything else you wish to say, Nicole?
Yes, and this is so important that we don't forget how powerful we are, and that's one of Christina's main messages in the end. How powerful we are, not only in our um, personal life, but in the connection. And if we're so much more powerful than we know. And the small things in life, the small good things, it might be a smile here or a nice word here, or it's not that difficult. It's just taking the decision, yes, I want to put as much good into my day as possible. And if I smile at the cashier in the supermarket, or give a nice word, and it makes life so much more beautiful. And this is what connects us via this filigrane net of love that is in the quantum field. And we should never forget that we are always connected by this. And this was makes life so beautiful. And what you are doing now, I don't want to take your time either. You're cooking, and you're enjoying that, and to do things that brings us joy is so important, because it nourishes us on the cooking on different levels, on the physical level, and on our soul levels. Everything that's good for us, that we're doing good for us, is an act of self-love. So great.
Thank you. And I think this is like a wonderful word to Thanksgiving. So thank you for that, Nicola. That was just wonderful, fabulous.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking your time and listening to me. And I hope
Would
you're
you
enjoying the rest of your cooking event.
would you be willing to put in the chat, anything maybe about how to contact you or Christina? I mean, how Christina's website or the expansion network? Would you put that into the chat?
I try. I'm not very good at technical things.
Okay,
That's not
okay.
my forte. I try. Okay?
Otherwise, I will do it afterwards.
Yes, please
Then
do so.
I will do that afterwards. I'm not really reaching very well here right now.
Okay. Okay. So I'm happy if you do that for me.
Sure, I sure will. Thank you.
So thank you, Bettina. Thank you,
Say
everybody.
hi
Bye.
also to Christina
Bye.
and
Yes, I will.
have a wonderful night.
You
Thank you.
too. Bye bye.
Bye. All right. Very good. Let us go.